Hey, what's up, guys? It's the cool dude here, and welcome to another episode of Logo Evolution. And today, I'm going to be doing a Logo Evolution on the one you probably have heard of before, Mark VII Limited, or V2Is, but 7 Limited. Mark VII Limited, also known as, at the time, Mark VII Productions Incorporated, is a production company of the actor Jack Webb, best known as Sergeant Joe Friday on the TV series Dragnet. The company was active from 1951 to 1951, and then they probably came back in 1967, and then till his death in 1982. That's when the company closed down. The Jack Webb estate, currently owns rights to the Mark VII Library, except for Dragnet, which is it's because of the TV series he's in, Adam 12, and Emergency, which is owned by Universal. But Universal have the rights to release those on DVD, and NBC Universal Television Distribution own distribution rights on, of course, television. Let's get on with some logos, starting with the first one. The logo is called the Early Hammer, and it was in use from 1951 to 1954. There's a white lowercase variant. There's a capitalized variant. The one has the drum roll. This is a good logo, but it's kind of a still, though at least there's animation of it, which is in live action. But I think the arms and hands is Jack Webb's. Well, it's really cool, though, either way. And speaking of cool logos, the next one is one that you probably have heard of, and especially Adult Swim fans. The logo is... It does say the hammer, but I'm just gonna come up with my own nickname. I'm gonna call it Adult Swim Hammer because, Adult Swim uses, so here we go. It's called Adult Swim Hammer, and it was in use from 1954 to 1959. It was used again in 1967 to 1971. The early variant has the 7 font looking a bit different. Not only that, the Mark Unlimited font is, a bit different than, the later variant. And, yeah. There's a version in black and white. I have a colorized variant. There's a long-ish variant, which a production of Mark VII Limited is said. A production of Mark and Limited is in a different font, and the 7 text is, slightly different and look more brighter. It was in use in 1955 on the movie called Pete Kelly's Blues. When the logo was revived in 1967, Mark and Limited is in a slightly different font, while 7 is in a slight different font and looks more brighter than the original variant. This is the most common one, which I'll talk about that later. Now this is a good logo, even though it's still, and the only animation we see is, of course, the hands and hammer, which actually belongs to Harold C. Nibby. who was actually Jack Webb's construction foreman. It's still a good logo. This is actually a famous logo. And the reason that I called it, well, the Adult Swim hammer, because Adult Swim used it. Not only that, Ghost Planet Industries, currently known as William Street, used it. Well, the sound effect of it. So that's the reason I call it the Adult Swim hammer. So, yeah. And then they kept it again when they changed to William Street. Well, but I'm going to move on here, otherwise the video is going to get too long. There's a weirder variant. I mean, there's no nickname, so I'm just going to have to call it the Sand Text. And it was in use in 1959. This is a weird look. It's just a still with no animation. And speaking of stills, that's the next logo. It's called the Golden Text, and it was in use from 1971 to 1973. There's a dark variant. The logo is weird. I mean, that it's loud. I'm guessing the reason they want to make it loud is to make sure that the audience is still awake, because they tend to fall asleep, especially nowadays. So they had to. It's kind of clever, though. Moving on to the next logo. This is actually the final logo, and it's called the Adult Swim Hammer 2, and it was used from 1973 to 1979. There is actually a variant that doesn't have, of course, that drum roll. Now this is a good logo, except it's short. I could have made it longer, and it only has one hammer, well, sound. But yeah, well, that's actually it. That's actually really it. Well, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notification icon so you'll be notified for my latest videos. And of course, please don't be afraid to request any logos. If I see it, I'll take it. So, yeah. And, yeah. Well, bye. I'll see you later, and bye.